Okay, let's talk about Animal Farm. You've probably heard of it, right? George Orwell's classic. It's one of those stories that just sticks with you. It kicks off with this beautiful dream of perfect equality, but man, it ends up as a total nightmare of tyranny. So the big question is, how? How did a revolution that started with the best intentions go so wrong? Well, let's dive in and see for ourselves. Every revolution has to start somewhere, right? It always starts with an idea. And for the animals on Manor Farm, that big idea came from this wise old boar, Old Major. His dream? It was actually pretty simple, but incredibly powerful. He imagined a world run by animals for animals. No more humans, no more oppression. And that one idea, well, that was the spark that was about to set the whole farm ablaze. So, taking Old Major's dream, the cleverest animals on the farm, and yeah, that's the pigs, they cooked up this whole new philosophy. They called it animalism. The foundation was honestly really pure and utopian. It was all about how all animals are comrades and humans are the enemy. The core principle? Absolute equality. This was going to be the bedrock, the foundation for their brand new world.
All right, first up, a dream of freedom. This is where the story really kicks off. That hopeful, amazing moment where the dream starts to feel like it could actually happen. And you know what? It all happened way faster than anyone thought it would. Their farmer, Mr. Jones, well, he was a mess. He'd forget to feed them, and one day they just had enough. They fought back, and they actually won. They drove the humans right off their land. It was this incredible, stunning victory. And in that moment of pure excitement, they changed the name from Manor Farm to Animal Farm. They were free. For the very first time, they were actually free. Okay, so to make sure their new society was protected, they came up with a set of core principles. They called them the Seven Commandments. And these were supposed to be unchangeable, like set-in-stone laws. So what did they do? The pigs got up on a ladder and painted these 7 commandments in big, bold, white letters right on the side of the barn. I mean, this wasn't just a list of rules. This was basically their constitution. It was a constant, visible reminder of everything they stood for and everything they had just overthrown. And the rules themselves were pretty simple and clear, really. The whole point was to stop any animal from ever acting like a human. So you've got whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. No animal shall wear clothes. No animal shall sleep in the bed. The usual stuff you'd expect. But pay really close attention to this last one. It's the big one, the cornerstone of the whole thing. All animals are equal. You're gonna want to remember that one. It's super important. So the old enemy is gone. Great, right? Well, not so fast. A new leadership starts to take shape, and with it comes a major power struggle. And it's all centered on 2 very different pigs. Okay, so on one side, you've got Snowball. He's the idealist. Brilliant, passionate, always talking about a better future for everyone, planning these amazing projects like a windmill to make life easier. And then you've got Napoleon. He's the quiet one. Cunning, kind of shady, and honestly way more interested in grabbing power for himself than in debating big ideas. So yeah, 2 leaders, 2 completely different visions for the farm. In this whole conflict, it doesn't end with a debate. It ends with violence. Snowball is giving this incredible speech about the windmill. He's winning everyone over, and then bam! Napoleon lets loose 9 huge, vicious dogs that he'd been secretly training. They go straight for Snowball and chase him right off the farm. And just like that, with that single act of terror, the debate is over. Napoleon is in charge. No questions asked. And this is where things get dark. The rules change. With Napoleon in complete control, the entire foundation of Animal Farm, all its laws, all its ideals, it all starts to twist and crack. This is where the corruption really sets in. It always starts small, doesn't it? The first sign is the pigs start taking all the milk and apples for themselves. When the other animals are like, hey, what gives? This super persuasive pig named Squealer comes out to do damage control. He's the ultimate spin doctor. He tells them, oh, we pigs need this for our brain work. It's for your sake, for the good of the whole farm. And just like that, you're watching the beginning of the end for equality. And this is their whole strategy. It's how they operate. It's so clever, but so evil. When the pigs decide they want to move into the farmhouse and sleep in actual beds, they can't just get rid of the commandment, right? So instead, they secretly add 2 little words at the end, with sheets. Then Squealer comes out and says, oh, the rule was never against beds. Just sheets. Sheets are a human invention. And the other animals who can't read very well, they just get confused. They start to doubt what they even remember. It's classic gaslighting.
Now, in the middle of all this creeping corruption, you've got to know about Boxer. He's this incredibly strong cart horse, and his loyalty is just absolute, unquestioning. No matter what goes wrong, no matter how hard things get, his answer is always the same: I will work harder. He's really the heart and soul of the revolution, the embodiment of the working animal.
And true to his word, Boxer works himself practically to death building that windmill. He gives everything he has. One day, his body just gives out, and he collapses. He's the most devoted follower they have. So, Napoleon makes this big announcement saying they've made special arrangements to send Boxer to a top-notch animal hospital to get better. And all the other animals, they're so relieved. They think their hero, their friend, is finally going to get the care he deserves. But this is just the most gut-wrenching betrayal. The van that shows up to take Boxer away, it's not from a hospital. You can see the words painted on the side: horse, slaughterer, and glue boiler. The pigs didn't send him for care. They sold him. They sold their most loyal, hardworking comrade to be killed just so they could get some money to buy whiskey.
That act of unbelievable cruelty, that really marks the final stage of this whole story. We're now in the section called Pigs and Men. Years go by, the revolution is just a faint, twisted memory, and that clear line they once drew between friend and enemy, it's about to disappear completely. So think about it. A whole new generation of animals grows up on the farm. They've never known anything but hardship, and the pigs being in charge. So what happened to old Major's dream, that beautiful vision of a world free from oppression? What was left of animalism? Well, the answer, as it so often does in this story, is right back there on the barn wall. Only the 7 commandments, they're gone, just painted over. And in their place, there's just one single commandment left to rule the farm. And this is it. This is all that's left. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. I mean, it's just this perfectly cynical, twisted contradiction. It takes the entire founding idea of the revolution and flips it on its head to justify tyranny. At this point, the revolution hasn't just failed. It has created a system that is even worse than the one they overthrew in the first place. And the whole story comes to a close with this one final, haunting image. The other animals are outside, peering through the window of the farmhouse. And inside, they see the pigs, playing cards with the human farmers. And as their eyes go from pig to man, and back from man to pig, they suddenly realize they can't tell them apart anymore. The liberators have become the exact same as the oppressors. And that right there is the question the book leaves us chewing on. It's this timeless, powerful warning, isn't it? A warning about how easily our highest ideals can be twisted, how language can become a weapon of control, and how power? Well, how power almost always corrupts. It makes you ask not just how did their revolution fail, but the much more important question: how do we protect our own?